Hello and welcome to class. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Thank you so much. I really cherish your showing up all the time. Thank you so much. It's quite encouraging and I believe you've been learning a lot from this. If you have, please a thumbs up. Please like, share and make a comment. Ask your questions and also follow, subscribe. Thank you so much. Now we want to wrap up on fowl pox. We have started on it. We started, this is the third class we'll be having on it. Now, when we started initially, we named it, it's called fowl pox. Other names include chicken pox, quail pox, chicken pox, and we also named it chicken pox and quail pox. Then we also have the causal agent to be the fowl pox virus. And then we looked at the strains, about 6 strains. We have the Cetacea strain, we have the quail, the Cetacea pox, we have the quail pox, we have also the different forms of it. And then the mode of transmission being through, it could be through mosquito bites, and then also touch, contact with birds that already have the pox on them. And then the last class we looked at the presentation being, it could be dry, it could be wet. And when it's the wet, it's usually in the tracheal, in the inner respiratory tract, in which case it is on the mucous lining of it. It becomes painful, and that's why it's called avian diphtheria. Now, become painful and becomes sore. When it's dry, it's on the outer part of the body, especially the head. It could also be the exposed part like the feet, and also you'd have on the neck, you see some ugly looking pox on the head and all those parts, the comb, the wattle and the others. You see the birds looking unthrifty. Then we also look at the signs and symptoms. What are the signs that you see when you see a bird that is infected? The bird will usually first loss of appetite and then loss of weight, and then you begin to see pox signs on the head, and then you see difficulty breathing, and these things are signs that you may see. Now I want to encourage that you look at the previous video so you get full understanding of these things. I want to also consider the length of this video, so just touch on these things and then move fast. And then we looked at treatment. Like most viral ailments, they do not have no treatment. Now why I said this with caution is that some people have claimed to have it. Some will say, okay, some herbal extract can do it. But scientifically, so far, it's best to manage them by preventing the outbreak. Now, the prevention is therefore what we'll be looking at today. Now, in preventing fowl pox, we look at the major and the most important part, which is vaccination. So you prepare for it ahead. Vaccination is introducing an attenuated or a live part of it, or a dead live virus into the organism at a younger age, so that the innate immunity, it builds an innate immunity against this virus in case of another time, so when it may come. So by using vaccines, one is able to build the immunity of your birds, your flock, against a sudden outbreak at any time. Now, what are the characteristics of the spread? Now, there's something about fowl pox that makes it a big difference from other viral diseases. It's because it's slowly spreading. Not like others where it's quite dangerous. They infect one, infect the other, infect, and in fact, you come one day and you see that a flock of birds that is looking supposedly or somewhat healthy, you see like some are dead. The next day you come again, a number dead, a number dead, a number dead. But this doesn't spread so fast. It spreads slowly, slowly. As long as the animal don't have contact with each other, it will spread. So if you notice one with pox, immediately take that one away into a different place. You notice another, take away, take away. It's not going to be like Newcastle disease or some other viral ailments that spread. Before you know it, it's disaster. Now this one is a bit okay. Now, but one thing is that animals can recover. When they become recover, they are not always looking thrifty. They don't look always nice, but they can recover from this. Now, what is the route of vaccinating? There are different routes by which vaccines are introduced to the body of an animal. It could be ocular, it could be intravenous, and in this case, it's through the wing web. Now, the wings are raised, and then you see a route there into it is introduced. But then it's not the best to do that for turkey, because turkeys lie down on their wings. Turkeys don't do that for turkeys, and it may even cause conjunctivitis, that is the inflammation of the conjunctiva in turkeys. So the best for turkeys is that you inject through the thigh of the turkey. Is preferred to do that. Now, when you want to vaccinate a adult at 10th or 10th to 11th week, adult you do the vaccine, and you give a vaccine against fowlpox, and also between 10 to 12th week. For turkeys, you do that between 8 to 14th week when they're about an adult age. Now, how about in places that are endemic to this particular ailment, fowlpox? The word endemic is different from pandemic. Endemic means it's in a very small locality, and it's like it's always coming up from time to time. A pandemic can come and spread in a very large place. Now, in a small place that is endemic to this particular thing, this particular fowlpox, what do? It's good you take samples to the laboratory to determine the actual strain. I've talked about 6 strains of it in the previous video. The very first one, we had the Cetarsi, we had the Ratatite strain of fowlpox, the virus that caused the fowlpox virus. There are different strains of it. The worst strain means that there are different ways the virus can change. It changes itself to come on this way, in which case it can affect this particular set of poultry birds, like some that affect turkey, pheasants, and this, so it may not affect chicken, and some other that affect this may not affect it. So that's what we're talking about in terms of strains. Then to that I'll come to this place. That leads me to this place. Now, when you determine the strain, you will now know how to manage it. But there's something about chicken, because chicken is most prevalently bred. Chicken, the strain that affects chicken and the strain that affects quail looks much more alike, unlike the previous. So the treatment for this will also work for quail birds, and you can use the quail pox, the chicken pox. The same vaccine can work for the both of them in this case. Now, there's another thing to do. The first thing is prevention by vaccination, and I've talked about other things about vaccination that I need to know. But then the next is keeping the environment clean. I made mention of this. The reason why we have to keep the environment clean by what? Clearing weed, refuses, and also stagnant water. Now, what happens there? Insects grow on these things. Mosquito grows on it. Insects grow on these things. Now, but what is the reason, or what's the reason why we have to make sure that these weeds are cleared because of insects? How does what does insect have to do with fowlpox? What type of insects? I want to leave you with this question. Now, the answer is in the previous videos. Why do we have to clear the place, the environment, and keep it neat? It's not just to avoid stench, but there's a reason relating to fowlpox you want to know. Please put in the comment section, and then we'll brainstorm on it. But you have the answer in the previous video. I want to thank you for staying again. Thank you so much. In the next class, we'll come with another ailment, we'll treat on it. I want you to know this. Once we're done with the pathological part of it, that is talking on ailments, we're not going to treat all ailments, but after a certain time, we'll switch to the nutritional aspect of the poultry science. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for liking. See you next time.